Welcome to the August 1st Eclipse OpenJ9 community call. If you can add your name and affiliation to the list of attendees, that would be great. Got the usual agenda in front of us. If there's something you want to add, feel free. Either you can chime in now or we can tackle it at the relevant section or in the any other business section. We don't have a lightning talk scheduled this week. If you want to give one, reach out to me. We'll get something set up. And let's take a look at the recent end user issues that have come in. Looks like there's been a couple that have come in since the last call. A seg fault that's happened in fast debug, which is all right. So it looks like we've got some investigation happening there already, and an issue with the Semaru and a class path exception on 20. So it looks like all of these have some people connected to them. Is there anything here that needs some conversation or discussion to help move it forward? All right, then I guess we'll jump back to the agenda. That brings us to the 040 release. We started the GA July 18th. I see somebody's put an update in here. Pete, was that you?
Yeah. So there was OpenSSL CV fix released yesterday. So we're going to rebuild Windows and Mac platforms to incorporate that. I talked to Adam about it yesterday. I don't know if he started the builds, though. I didn't see anything.
Doing them now. I didn't get a chance yesterday.
And then we're still waiting on some other triage as well.
Does that mean that the Linux builds and the Windows and Mac builds will have different release versions?
Well, when we this is just RC1. When we do the final builds, they'll all be the same.
Okay, sorry, I thought this was the final builds now. Okay. Do we have a target date then for doing the final builds?
I think the main holdup is some IBM CE testing. I think they're close, but there was still a couple of failures they were working through.
There was also an open question about some FIPS testing.
Okay. So it sounds like we're not ready to commit to a date on this, or any commitment would be internal to IBM. So
Be nice to see it happen this week, but I kind of suspect it won't. So, and then we've got some big holidays beginning of next week. So I'm thinking end of next week. But we could hold out some hope. We could get it done by the end of this week.
I'll be away Thursday, Friday this week as well.
So definitely next week.
all right. I guess that brings us to 041, the Java 8, 11, and 17 release in October.
Yeah, I suspect it's not going to get a whole lot of love, that we might be moving a lot of these issues forward. A lot of them have probably been moved forward before. I don't know that there's much that's blocking us.
I suggested in the last call that it might make sense to move some of these things into either the backlog plan or the deep backlog plan, whatever it's called these days, or close them out as things we're just not going to do.
Yep.
Moving them forward, release after release, is not really helping anyone.
Yeah, it's annoying and takes a lot of effort to keep moving things forward.
There's a lot of crashes and assertions, though. So if people are able to get them closed out, that would be good. But otherwise, I think moving them to a deep backlog or whatever. Is it called backlog these days or deep backlog?
We have both. So the deep backlog is kind of like there's no hope we're ever going to get to those. And the backlog, there might be some hope we could remove things and get them resolved one day. So maybe the things in the deep backlog should just be closed, since they're probably never going to get anybody looking at them.
I was going to suggest that people can always reopen something if they find it and re-encounter it.
Yeah, at a certain point, we're just collecting issues at a rate that we can't keep up with them.
Yeah, it's possible not all the issues can be closed because some of them probably have excluded tests.
Okay. Yeah, so moving those to the backlog or deep backlog would be a better choice then. Okay, so what I'm hearing though is that this list of items is unlikely to change significantly before that code split date, given the that we're in August already and there's some vacations coming up. Is that sort of an accurate assessment?
Yeah, some people are focused on 21, I expect, or Valhalla.
Okay. So these dates are probably still somewhat accurate, but unlikely to see much of a change here.
Yeah, we'll try to stick to those dates as we normally do.
All right. And I see some significant updates in this section as well. Do you want to tackle that, Pete? I assume you've...
I just tried to put some numbers beside the milestone so we could see what's left. Although I know there's a bunch of JVMTI issues that Babneet has been working on, and there's the FFI stuff that's going to take a while to resolve.
Okay.
See, there's still some Loom issues, and I think there's some other VM issues that aren't tagged JVMTI or Loom or Panama, but I need to double check that.
Okay.
And then I just crossed out the dates because we're not doing those dates.
So if we're aiming for an October release, that really only pushes things back about a month for our timelines, though, from September 19th to mid-October.
Yeah, so we were hoping we could get something out in October, but it depends on how soon we can resolve these 32 items. So if we can't get them resolved for October, then it'll have to be delayed further.
I had a question too about the scoped values work in this. I'm wondering if we've run all the testing and the evaluation on that work as well, because my understanding is the hotspot side ended up starting in the libraries and a bunch of effort was pushed down into the VM. And I don't know that I've seen VM level changes go by on our side. So I'm just curious if we've caught the necessary pieces for that plan or that.
As far as I know, all the JT-Reg tests that we expect to pass are passing. The only thing new was the JCK failure that required an API that we had previously not seen any usage for. So that is being looked at right now. But beyond that, I'm not aware of any dependency in the JVM for this.
Okay.
Babneet actually closed the JEP item that we had open yesterday because he said we're down to 2 issues that are in the milestone separately. The 2 things that Toby just mentioned, I think.
Okay.
So it looks like 1 failure and then implement that API.
Okay, that's good to hear. Sorry, that was not. Yeah. Do we expect? I know we have things like the impact, the investigate the performance impact of pinning. Are these items that are still part of Java 21, or can they be moved forward? Do they?
These can be moved forward. They're being done separately as part of the Liberty investigation on JQ21. So I suspect this is going to be an ongoing thing that we will be looking at for some time. So there's no issue moving this forward.
Okay.
So where do you want to move it forward to? Do we have the milestones that we need to move it forward, or do we need to create something?
We'll probably have to create something.
Do you
Does
want
it make more sense to track them in a project rather than a milestone? If we're not targeting them for a particular release, this would put them on the, perpetually moving forward thing. If we put them in some kind of project, we would have an area that collects them but doesn't commit them to a time frame.
Yeah. So I'm okay with that. We do have the Virtual Threads project, I believe, or maybe it's called Loom. So there is a project for this work. I think we're kind of trained to only look at milestones and not look at projects. So my only concern is that it might be forgotten. But yeah, I think we could do that.
I'm just trying to find a way to avoid the problem we were talking about on the previous release, where we've been moving things forward over and over. So I'll leave how you want to organize that in your hands, but I think we should be careful not to grow a new set of things that drag forward plan to plan.
Yeah.
Interesting. We have a Java Next milestone, which I'm not sure I created. Does anybody know anything about the Java Next milestone and what it's for? It's got one item in it.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
So that is it's a value types failure. I'm not sure who created the milestone, but I suspect it was to track failures in future JEPs that we're currently working on. Can you go to the closed ones? Yeah, I don't know if Jason's on the call. Maybe he knows.
No, I'm not sure. I didn't create any milestone, but I usually tag my PRs as if bring up next level. So I tag to either JDK 22 or JDK head, but I'm not sure this milestone though.
I think you were proposing
Still
this
thinking,
might be a
Toby?
good thing to use.
Or did we lose Toby?
I'm still here. Sorry.
Looks like Toby was trying to talk, but couldn't hear anything. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Peter. So I'm still audible. But I think if we want to keep this could be something we continue to use.
Get off the call and rejoin.
I can hear both Toby and Peter.
Yeah, so could I. So
yeah, maybe something's wrong on Peter's side.
I'm back.
Can you hear us now, Pete?
Yep.
Okay. So, Toby, is this something you prefer to use this instead of a project? I don't have a strong preference. I'm just looking for what's going to be effective for us.
Yeah, I think that this would be something we can use.
Well, I was thinking I would create the usual, like I create a milestone for Java 22 and create a milestone for 43, the next quarterly update.
Okay. If you want to roll them forward into whatever the next release is, that's fine too. I just hoping to find a system that's effective that avoids the roll forward every release.
Yeah, so I mean, we could have a policy that if you roll forward for 1 year, it goes into deep backlog automatically. So we can look at our list. Anything that's older than a year old, we'll just move it to deep backlog, and we don't have to think about it. And then we can have a policy for auto closing things in deep backlog as well.
Okay. Happy to see that happen as well. So, all right. Is there anything else we wanted to touch on for JDK 21?
A few people have asked about milestone 1 builds. I'm not sure if it's something we want to, like, being that it's LTS, do we want to start them earlier than usual or do a 3rd milestone, or is it no point in doing it at this point because we're not functionally there?
I was thinking we could do a milestone 1 when OpenJDK has their final build out. Sorry, Adam, were you starting to say something? I heard
That'll be 3rd week of August then? 22nd?
Sounds about right. 24th. 24th is the final release candidate date.
On a Thursday?
That's the OpenJDK date.
Oh, okay. Are we?
So that's not their GA date. Their GA date is not till September.
Oh,
But they have an initial release candidate date of the 10th.
okay.
And
Right.
then a final release candidate date of the 24th. So we might as well wait till the final release candidate and then do a M1 and full triage to see if there's anything else that we haven't noticed so far. And then we can publish that, although FFI may still be in a state of incompleteness.
Would we? Does the code split go hand in hand with the M1, or is that too early to code split?
So we can create the branches, but then we might just end up pushing them forward later. But we can create the branches in order to do the M1 build.
Okay. Sounds good.
So I don't know if we want to think of it as a split.
Split with the possibility of just sucking in everything.
No. All right.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. And then I guess that brings us to the infrastructure update.
I didn't update this, but I don't think we have anything to update on. We are going to start some work on AX, so we need to upgrade 7.1s. So we have a plan of a few different things. So we're going to take the OMR machines, give them 7.2s. We'll share with them 7.2s, and then we'll upgrade all the 7.1s to 7.3. So we'll have a more heavily on the 7.2 side because those are the compile levels. So that work is going to proceed, but not at a very fast pace.
All right. Thanks, Adam. I don't see Marius, so I assume no update on the JIT server side. Toby, anything you want to call out for CRIU?
Nothing new to call out this week.
Hung, anything you want to call out for value objects?
No.
And I know we had talked about the XDebug issue, and I closed that. There's been no further comments, so I'll take this off the agenda. Is there any other items people wish to discuss this week? All right, then I guess the next one of these calls will be August 15th. We'll skip next week, as I understand there's some holidays across a large group of the contributors. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.